Issue 10. Food. I can understand the desire of long-term foreign residents to eat their own native foods from time to time because they are homesick or miss the taste of something. But I've always been amazed at tourists who visit a foreign land and refuse to eat the local cuisine, preferring to eat as though they were still at home. Even worse are the ones who never leave their hotels except to catch a plane. Why did they travel there at all? In a day or a few days, it's difficult to learn much about an exotic culture. But nonetheless, we can get very visceral impressions by watching the locals eat and by trying the native dishes ourselves. Kimchi is not just a concoction made with red pepper sauce. It is part of the Korean soul, just as dumplings have something important to say about how the Chinese live. And sushi is key to understanding the Japanese lifestyle. Drinkers can perhaps gain an even sharper insight into foreign cultures, but unfortunately, they tend to forget most of it the next day. Comprehension. 1. Why do you suppose most Americans in Hong Kong eat at famous fast food restaurants? 2. What is the value of eating like the natives? 3. Have you ever eaten one of your nation's characteristic foods in a different country? Was it the same? Can you describe that experience? Express yourself. 1. Do you have 3 meals every day? What do you think about having only 1 or 2? 2. Who fixes breakfast in your family? What do you usually have? 3. What do you usually eat for lunch? 4. What's your favorite dessert? 5. Do you volunteer sometimes to pay for your fellow workers' lunches, or do you always go Dutch? 6. Do you drink coffee after a meal? How many cups of coffee do you drink a day? 7. Do you enjoy eating, or is it just a necessity? How often do you eat out? 8. Are you calorie conscious? What are some of the most notorious foods to be careful about in terms of calories? 9. What are your favorite foods, a traditional one and a foreign one? 10. Do you like ramyeon? How often do you eat it? Do you have a special recipe for it? 11. Some traditional foods seem to be disappearing from people's diets, especially in more advanced societies. Do you have any explanation? 12. Organic food staples are popular these days. Do you believe that organic food is healthier and buy it despite its higher price tag? 13. If a capsule contained everything your body needs for a day, would you take it to save time on meals, or would you continue eating real food? 14. What do you think about vegetarians' attitudes? Are they naive, or do they have a practical diet? 15. Fast food is sometimes claimed to be good for one's health. Do you believe it? 16. Do you think we usually eat because we are actually hungry, or just out of habit? 17. Would you eat fast food every day, even if you had lots of other choices, or the time to cook your own meal? Would you let your kids eat it every day? 18. Many people say that we have health problems because we eat too much. Do you agree? Why or why not? 19. Are you afraid of eating produce that may contain chemical residue? How about mercury-poisoned fish and meat with growth hormones? Opinion samples. 1. Organic food is a hoax. Farmers have to comply with certain regulations in order to be allowed to market their produce as organic, but these are rather superficial. A carrot is a carrot is a carrot. As long as it gets enough nutrition and sunlight, nothing else matters very much. Chemicals protect carrots from bugs, so it is harder for organic farmers to raise vegetables successfully. But the end products that end up in consumer stomachs are nearly identical. The small difference in taste or quality is certainly not worth the large markup in price. 2. We all eat more than we need to stay healthy, so we are never actually hungry. However, we quickly get into a habit of eating at a certain time every day, and it does not take long for our bodies to follow suit. So gastric juices may be generated like clockwork as a sort of conditional response, and if we do not eat at that time, we may feel nausea as a result. Or we may fool ourselves into thinking that we need a bedtime snack in order to sleep soundly, or that we may need to follow some other dietary ritual every day. But the fact is that as long as we get enough of the minerals and nutrients in our systems on a regular basis, we are maintaining our well-being. Dialogue. Is slow food too slow for modern society? I'm hungry. Are we going to eat soon?
I've decided that we eat too much fast food, so from now on, we're only going to eat slow food. So you'll just have to wait.
What does that mean?
It means that I'm going to stop at the supermarket every day on my way home to get fresh food. No more frozen or canned stuff, and no more leftovers. I'm only going to buy what we're going to eat that day.
Great. But I still don't get it. Why can't I eat?
Don't worry, you'll eat. Wonderful, healthy, great-tasting food. I promise. But you have to wait a bit. I have to prepare everything from scratch. You can help me, actually. Do you mind slicing up that onion? Don't forget to wash it first.
Glad to help out, of course. Everything looks and smells great. When will it be ready?
It's probably going to be about a half hour. Not too long.
We can speed up that process by cooking it in the microwave instead of in that big pot, don't you think?
Things just don't cook the same in a microwave as they do with a real fire. From now on, we're going to eat meals prepared like my grandmother made them.
It sounds like a lot of extra work for you.
Yes, it is. But I enjoy cooking. It's like painting or playing a piano. Doing it is good for one's soul, so I don't mind. But you can do the dishes afterwards if you don't mind.
Every day?
Of course. Where are you going?
I'm done with the onion, and I also sliced the tomatoes for you, so I'm going out to pick up some fried chicken to eat, just to tide me over until it's time to eat. Can I get you anything?
Pick up some milk. Make sure it's organic.
At least I don't have to milk the cow.
Of course not, silly. But I was thinking we could probably raise a chicken or two on the balcony.
Questions. 1. Does your family still cook and eat like Grandma did? What has changed, if anything? 2. Does food taste as good as it used to when you were young? Is there some food in particular that you miss? 3. Many women no longer know how to cook when they get married. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Read and discuss. What we eat is not what we ate or what we will eat. Thousands of years ago, the wheat, rice, potatoes, and other foodstuffs that farmers grew barely resembled what we are accustomed to today. Most of us would refuse to eat it, and some of it would indeed be inedible for a modern human. What has happened, of course, is that farmers continuously practice genetic engineering techniques to improve the qualities they wanted, and the plants changed accordingly. Farming methods got better as well. Over the past 2 centuries in particular, science and technology have accelerated the rate of change in our food supply. We routinely use pesticides to save our crops from insect and bacterial predators. We harvest seedless grapes, and in the laboratory, we create varieties of plants and animals that do not exist in nature. We engineer steers to be bigger and leaner, and we have turned chicken farms into assembly lines. Who knows? Perhaps soon we will eat foods that will prevent cancer or cure arthritis or increase human IQs. Questions. 1. How would you know if you were eating genetically engineered food products? Is there any difference between them and natural ones? 2. Are there any drawbacks to the progress described in the paragraph? If so, what are they? 3. If the food we eat is healthier for us, is more plentiful, and looks and tastes better, why are there so many critics of the new scientific method of food production? Let's talk funny. Dietary war.
Humans have declared war on us once again. Can you believe it?
It's ridiculous. We give them so much enjoyment.
Absolutely. But nevertheless, I envy you.
Why?
People treat me like a hard-working, frumpy housewife as a necessity rather than a pleasure, but they hunger after you like a mistress. Questions. 1. If you were sugar, how would you respond to salt? 2. Are the campaigns against salt and sugar just a waste of time or a useful endeavor? 3. What would our eating culture be like if we succeeded in completely banning sugar and salt from our diets?
Points to ponder. The following sentences are all related thematically. They express a wide difference of opinions and attitudes. You may agree with some of them and disagree with others. Please discuss what you think the sentences mean and what you think about them. 1. Food for the body is not enough. There must be food for the soul as well. 2. The most dangerous food is the wedding cake. 3. More people die of too much food than of too little. 4. Eating plenty of onions and garlic may help you live longer, but you will die very lonely. 5. Eating without conversation is like dancing without music. 6. Children in poverty have only 2 mealtime choices. Take it or leave it. 7. More and more food is canned or prepackaged for convenience, including food for thought. 8. Many people seem to be allergic to food for thought.